Most people let their emotions manage them. That's just true. Their emotions are leading. They get angry, and they yell at you. Or they get hurt, and they hurt you back. Hurting people always hurt people. If you get hurt by somebody, typically because they're hurting somewhere. So I think, when it comes to our emotions, we got to look at a couple things. First is emotional fatigue. Life is exhausting. Here's why. People are exhausting.
It's true. That's true.
People are exhausting. But that's okay. I've got to balance that. It is not their responsibility to balance my emotional fatigue. That is my responsibility. Hey, welcome to this episode of the Toddcast. I'm your host, the extraordinary, the anointed. No, just kidding. I'm just Todd. But I got to tell you, there's a lot of Toddcasts out there, and they're not all the same. Ignore all the others. This is the Toddcast that matters. Here's why. What makes the Toddcast different and unique? I've got Jordan. Jordan, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Jordan, we're going to show a picture of Jordan for the very first time. This is going to be, here it is. Are you ready? Here's Jordan. There it is. Jordan is right.
That's it. It's right there.
That's not Jordan.
Nope.
That's Colton Dixon. But, it is what it is. But we've got Jordan. Jordan, how's everything going, Jordan?
Everything's good.
Yeah?
It's been busy, but that's always a good thing. We got
A lot of traveling we've been doing lately.
Yes.
We have a song. Jordan and I wrote a song years ago.
Yes.
When we travel. You want to sing it? Because you can sing better than me. Go ahead.
We be traveling.
Traveling.
We be traveling.
All the way out there somewhere.
Traveling.
We be
traveling.
and then we come back home. We be traveling. There it is.
That was fire.
Written. That's pretty good. And if you like that, we have been traveling a lot though. Really, we've been traveling a lot, and it's been busy season. Busy season in the church. Busy season in my life. Busy season. I got extra stuff thrown on my plate.
Yes, there's a lot going on.
A lot going on. But it's been a good season. It's been a really good season. And a couple of things we want to make you aware of. Number one, we say this every episode, but if you haven't got Leadership Unleashed or Prosperity Unleashed, you need to get them now. You can get them on toddbishop.tv. Buy those books, put them into your library, and watch how God grows your life. A lot of things been happening, Jordan. I've had some issues lately. A lot of issues, man. It all started last summer. Last summer, my pool kept losing water. I'm it's losing inches every couple of days. Like it shouldn't be. I know there's evaporation. I know somebody's going to message us, say, well, that's water evaporation. Well, not at the level it was going. I did the bucket test. I put the bucket in. So here I was. I went in. I put on the goggles.
Yeah.
I swam along the perimeter. I'm feeling for where is there a tear? And I'm going through. Jordan, I found a tear.
Found it.
On my step.
Found it.
What I do, I ran over to the pool store. I got a patch.
Perfect.
Put it on in the water. I thought, rock star, hero, baby, look, I did it. Well, the leaks continued.
No.
I'm like, man, I'll just deal with it next year. Next year. You know what's interesting right now? It's so weird. I'm sitting here. I'm looking at my phone. I just got a text from Travis Green. Travis Green. I haven't heard from him in a little bit. Wow. He just invited me down to his church. So amazing. I want to personally invite you. And this is a group text. Travis, I want you right. You need to send me something private. I'm just saying. Like, Travis, I love you, man. I'm just kidding. No, I did get a text from Travis. So I just let it go. I'll deal with it next year. So I closed the pool. And I'm wondering why I don't have to pump any water out of the pool. It's an in-ground pool. It's a beautiful pool. Yeah. In fact, right, it's probably bigger than most hotels.
Yes, it's beautiful.
So, very fortunate. It's like a kidney shape with something growing out of the side because it's
has a
slide, diving board, little bench in the corner. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I open up the pool. The pool, Jordan, has hardly any water in it. All the way down. I'm like, what the heck? I'm poor. And I didn't know what was going on. And so the pool guys come and open the pool. They see it in seconds. On the second step, there was a seam failure.
Oh.
About that big, about 4 inches wide, 2.5 inches tall. So as water was coming in, it was pouring out. So what happened? Okay, it's just a leak in the liner. Just replace the liner, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Makes sense. Well, thousands of dollars later.
Not that much sense.
Problem was, during the winter, as the water leaked out, it went and kind of dropped a lot of the pavers all over because water just found a way. Pavers, they're dropping everywhere. So not only did I have to replace the liner, but I had to pay some guys to help redo my patio.
Yeah, the whole thing. That's wild.
Lots of money later. And you know what it turned into? A teaching for you guys. I want to talk to you guys for a little bit, and I wrote some notes down. Seam failure. Guarding your life against silent breaks. What I learned about a seam failure I didn't know before, Jordan, is if there's a tear in the wall or the floor, it can be patched, typically, unless it gets too big. If it's in the seam, it's irreparable. You cannot repair a seam in the step. It's just in an awkward place. So I couldn't repair it. I had to replace it. And so the reality is seams aren't flashy, but they hold everything together. When no one says, man, have you seen the seams in my pool liner? Nobody thinks about that. Now, Mary gets the liner she wants. Pavers are ready. It's going to be beautiful. But I tell all my son's friends, when you come over now, it's a $20 a head charge because I got to pay for the liner and the blocks. And you know what they said? We're not coming. I was like, you. Yeah, that was for you, Caleb. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Caleb. Caleb's not even going to watch this most likely, but seams aren't flashy, but they're necessary.
It's good.
They're holding stuff together. And, there's some seams in our lives that hold things together that may not be sexy or flashy or feel like they get the spotlight. They're kind of the things that are done in silent. They're things that are working behind the scenes. And I want to talk to you about those because I think it's so important for us to be able to recognize that every one of our lives are held together by seams. And the first seam I want to talk to you about is integrity. This is a tough one. Jordan knows this. We're doing this teaching with our staff and kind of became a teaching for you, a teaching for our staff, teaching for another environment. And I asked them, name some pastors that have protected their integrity. And it was very hard for them to do. Yeah. Like who? I mean, Billy Graham came up.
Yeah.
Billy Graham came up. Who else did we talk about?
Joel Osteen.
Joel Osteen came up. My name was thrown in there. I was humbled by it. It was my son that said it, but I'll take it, But if I asked the other question, how many of them failed with their seam of integrity? We would have been able to rattle off contemporaries, former guys, been able to rattle them off. Your private life is the glue that holds your public life together. Your private life is the glue that holds, I got to say it again. Your private life is the glue that holds your public life together. If your private life is not right, your public life will not be right either. Now, everybody needs to hear this. This ain't just for preachers. This ain't just for Christians. This is for everybody. In leadership, in life, CEOs, you work at a restaurant, you're a waiter, waitress, whatever you do, your private life matters. Yeah. What you do in private is going to affect how you live in public. And this is something I have tried my darndest for 29 years. 1996, I went into ministry. For 29 years, I have tried. I have had false accusations. I've been lied about. I've been attacked. I've been criticized. All these things that every public person goes through. And I could tell you this, on the other side of it, my integrity has kept me. There's a difference between your integrity and your reputation. Your integrity is who you really are and who God knows you are. Your reputation is who people think you are. A lot of times people judge someone by their reputation, what they've heard about them, what they thought about them. Like you can look at Jordan and think like, here he is again. Colton Dixon. That's Colton Dixon. You can sit there and think like, well, Jordan looks a certain way, so he must be this, or he hangs out with this, or he's on staff at this church. Listen, our church, people don't realize this, our church is open to differing opinions. Yeah. We have disagreements in our leadership team meetings. We discuss things, we debate them, and most times, if I'm not interested, what do, Jordan?
Get on my phone.
I start texting people, emailing people, and I'll come back. What do we decide?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Most people think I'm a directive leader. I'm actually more collaborative than people realize, but they hear how I preach.
Yeah.
They think, man, he's so passionate when he preaches, and when it comes to our team, I trust my team. So people perceive things from the outside. That's your reputation. Your integrity is who you really are when no one's watching, and who God knows you are and who he made you to be. Now, there's a lot of times in life that our integrity can be questioned. Poor decisions, poor speech. I am always guilty of saying something that just came out the wrong way. Like, it's the truth. I'll say something. So, oh my gosh, I didn't mean it that way. And I'm really quick to apologize about it. I think, integrity is so important. Scripture says this: whoever walks in integrity walks securely. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely. I know if I'm living in integrity, I'm going to be secure in where I'm going, what I'm doing, what God's called me to do. I don't have to question it. I don't have to worry about it. I'm living by integrity, not what people think about me, but who I really am. So I think, I got a new position recently. It's a pretty cool position. I'm kind of surprised by it, to be honest. But I got this new position where I'm the director of church multiplication for New York Assemblies of God. I'm in charge of helping them create systems and planning churches. And I was having a conversation with one of the leaders in our movement, and they're literally like, well, we thought this about you, but now that we're getting to know you. See, integrity is not what people think about you. That's reputation. Integrity is who you really are and who God knows you are, because he made you that way. See, there's a difference between secret sin and private compromise. Secret sin is knowingly doing something that defiles the heart of God. And then there's things that are compromise, where you might not be aware, you're just making poor decisions. And I think what happens, Jordan, a lot of times is people's charisma outpaces their character. They get put on a stage, they get opportunity, and next thing you know, they're this public figure, and their character can't support it. Your character actually supports your charisma. When your charisma is leading everything, charisma is going to open doors.
Yeah.
But character is going to keep those doors open. And so I'm grateful since 1996, 29 years, I've been able to have my character keep doors open for me. Yeah, sometimes my charisma gets ahead of me. Sometimes I say things I shouldn't do. I do things. I kind of bark up the wrong tree. But I honestly have recognized that one area that I haven't had a seem failure in is in my integrity. I've had times where I've made poor decisions. There's times I've sinned. I've made mistakes. But I can honestly tell you this. As a whole, my integrity has been intact. Not my reputation, my integrity. I think you got to ask yourself, what's one area of your character that you're ignoring because no one else sees? What's one area of your character that you're ignoring just because no one sees it? You're not addressing it. You're not getting the help you need. You're not confiding in someone else. I think if there's one area that's going to cause seem failures in our entire life, it's going to be integrity as the primary. You got to make sure your integrity is intact. And Jordan, I mean, there's a lot of things been said about me. How long have you been on staff?
4 years.
4 years. Question, am I the same person privately and publicly?
Absolutely.
I don't really change.
No.
I say the things I say up in the platform, on the stage, at the altar. I'll say on a podcast. I'll say in a conversation. I don't do it for the shock factor. I do it because that's just who I am.
Yeah.
I'm a jean wearing, t-shirt wearing guy. You see me in a suit, it's usually because someone asked me to wear a suit.
Yeah.
Or there's going to be a hard topic I'm going to talk about in church.
Yeah.
So there's the theme of integrity. Make sure your integrity is always in check, because if that tears, now here's what's interesting. I knew there was a leak in my pool, but I didn't address it. I waited, and that little pin leak that was probably leaking a little bit of water turned into this major failure.
Yeah, that's it.
Hear me, Toddcasters. I haven't used that in a while.
Yeah,
Hear me,
nice.
Toddcasters. Address your integrity now while it's small, or else it'll create a great leak that has a greater cost to your potential in the future. You got to address that. All right. Seam number 2. Jordan, seam number 2 is your emotions.
Oof.
Oh, man. This is me and emotions. Anybody else like that? What was it? What was that movie that had joy in it and all the emotions?
Inside Out.
Inside Out. You know what? That's my life. I could be on a high. I at the time it is, I'm getting promoted and elevated, and then I also get a text message. You're like all over the place. A phone conversation, a voice memo, an Instagram message. Someone comments on my face. Like my emotions could be on. Hey, come on. Anybody else feel like that? My emotions can be on. Jordan, you ever feel like that?
Yes.
Like you're like, man, I'm just trying to manage my emotions. And, I heard a preacher say this years ago. Man, my job would be great if it wasn't for people. Like, you think about that. If I could just preach, man, life would be easy.
A lot easier,
Preach and leave. Preach and leave. Maybe I should be an evangelist.
That's it.
Obviously not what I'm called to do.
Televangelist.
I'll be a televangelist. Let me just talk to you. Put your finger on the screen right now. Touch the point of contact.
Find a towel and preach on it.
Yeah, so I've learned emotions, they're not meant to lead you. They're meant to follow decisions you've already made. And so if you make the decision I'm going to treat people with respect, and then something happens where you can be disrespectful, you've already made the decision. So I'm not going to let my emotions that I felt disrespected to disrespect somebody back. I'm going to try. I don't always get it right. Trust me. I'm going to try with all my heart. Scripture says this. It says that you may enjoy good health even as your soul is getting or doing well. How you process your emotions is going to determine how the rest of your life is going to process. Yes, your integrity is pivotal. It's the first seam you got to look at. But the next one is this issue of your emotions. And most people let their emotions manage them. That's just the truth. Their emotions are leading. They get angry, and they yell at you. Or they get hurt, and they hurt you back. Yeah. Hurting people always hurt people. If you get hurt by somebody, typically because they're hurting somewhere. So I think, when it comes to our emotions, we got to look at a couple things. First is emotional fatigue. Life is exhausting.
Yeah.
Here's why. People are exhausting.
It's true. That's true.
People are exhausting, but that's okay. I've got to balance that. It is not their responsibility to balance my emotional fatigue. That is my responsibility. Just because someone says or does something to me does not give me right to get outside of the emotional balance that I need in people. You've got to be careful with emotional fatigue, because I do know this: when you're emotionally exhausted, you make poor decisions. You're going to send that message you shouldn't have said, make that call, have that conversation. But if you could step back and look at it and say, you know what? Nope, shouldn't do that. I do that all the time. I love ChatGPT because it'll help me filter my thoughts. Be like, hey, I want to send this text, but this ain't good. Help me filter this. It happens to all of us. It helps me collect my thoughts, because sometimes you want to respond emotionally. I think that's our natural inclination, but you can't respond. No matter what business you're in, you cannot respond emotionally to it. So there's emotional fatigue. There's compassion fatigue. When you're serving people, it's sometimes very easy to get exhausted in that. And then you develop this savior mentality. I got to help everybody.
Yeah.
And then you get compassion fatigue. And then you emotionally get imbalanced. Healthy boundaries are so important. Everybody's got healthy boundaries today. I mean, there's books on it. There's conversations about it. There's people, I don't answer my phone after 7. I got boundaries. Boundaries without safe outlets is just smoke and mirrors. I not only need healthy boundaries, but I need safe outlets. Who can I vent to? Who can I talk to? Who can I have a conversation with? Now, I know I'm having like kind of a one-way conversation with you, a two-way conversation with Jordan. By the way, here he is. But the reality is, I got to make sure who am I actually able to talk to?
That's good.
Who can I have a conversation with? What are my safe outlets? Like for me, one of the ways I balance my emotions, Jordan, it sounds crazy. I love doing some gardening. I love getting out there weeding. We have a little fountain, waterfall in the front of our house, and the pump blew. So I had to figure it out. And guess what? They don't make all the same parts. So I'm having to get this together. It took me about an hour. I put on some music out there, took off my shirt. Shouldn't admit that. I was in the front of my house. But I took off my shirt, got a little bit of sun, a little vitamin D.
Yeah, it's nice and hot outside.
And you know what I did? I repaired it. You know what I felt? I felt better after that hour.
Yeah.
I felt like, wow, I didn't have a phone call, didn't get a text message, didn't read my Instagram comments. Literally, that was good.
Yeah.
Why? It's a safe outlet for me. The plants don't talk back.
It's good.
The pump doesn't talk back.
Yeah.
I have to put my phone aside, just listen to some music. And so everybody to have emotional health to protect it from seam failure has to have, yes, healthy boundaries, 100%. But you also have to have safe outlets. Who do you go to? Who do you talk to? Because mental health support and counseling should be something that we practice on a regular basis. So we got to identify emotional warning lights. And we've got to build in emotional margin, because if we don't, we'll be a commotional distraction from everybody else and what we're supposed to be doing in our life. So seam number one that you got to protect yourself from is integrity. Seam number two, emotions. Seam number three, here it is, relationships. This one deserves a trumpet blast because, man, relationships are tough.
Yeah.
You ever had a tough relationship with somebody?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you want to talk about it? Should we have a little therapy session right now? It's free.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's tough, right? It's stressful. Relationships are tough, but unresolved conflict with people is usually a tear waiting to happen. If you can't resolve it, can't talk about it. Romans tells us, do all that you can to live at peace with everyone. Do all that you can. At some point, you're not going to be able to live at peace with everyone.
Yeah.
You do everything you can. And once you've done everything you can, then you stop and say, I've done all that I can. I can't do any more. I've got to move on. I believe this. Not everybody in your life is for the rest of your life.
It's true.
I know I get ripped apart a lot on social media for some of those expressions, because I do believe that if God brings that person out of your life, God's going to replace that with somebody better.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about when someone passes away. I'm talking about when God takes them out and that season ends in your life. I do think that helps in so many ways to get the wrong people out of our life. And one of the greatest keys to success, talked about in both of the books that are here, one of the greatest keys to success is the circle around your life. Yeah. Who do you put around your life? Who's the best relationships you got? Who's your priority relationships, Jordan? Who would you say, man, this is who I prioritize? What would be the top three?
Top three. Definitely my wife counts.
Oh, wow. Okay, good. That's a good one.
Yes. I think my relationship with my wife, my relationship with my kids, and God. Yeah, I mean.
Oh, that was questionable.
God is definitely not
God. I don't know.
I mean,
should that be
physical relationships or?
Well, let's go physical. Yeah. So God should be your primary, but take him out for a second, because he's the covering of everything. Yeah. Who would be that third person? So your wife, your kids. Your pastor. No, I'm just kidding. Todd Bishop.
I don't know. It's a hard question. I mean, I guess like my friend, like Alex and Kimmy, like kind of like Alex.
Yeah, so friends.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, Mr. Velasquez, your son did not put you in the top three.
I mean, my
love you, sir.
Yeah.
And that was another hint for who he is.
I'm screaming.
So right, we say that it's mostly our family, our friends.
Yeah,
those are going to be the people. Now, is that always the case though? Some of your family is the biggest weapon against you.
That is true.
They don't get it. They push against you. They don't agree with who you are, who you're becoming, what God's done in your life. They see things differently. And so you got to be cautious too. Don't just think because they're family, they get a pass. No. If they're family and they're sabotaging your destiny, guess what you've realized? They're not really the family you need. There's the family of birth and the family of choice. There's a family that you're born into, and then there's a family you choose to be a part of. And so we need to be able to know both and have both of them in our life. One of the things about relationship I think is important, Jordan, is avoiding isolation. Because isolation amplifies seam failure.
Yeah.
I'm all by myself. All by myself. Don't want to be all by myself anymore. Like nobody wants to be alone. People choose to be alone because something broke. There was a failure somewhere. And so I think you got to be careful. Isolation can accelerate that. So you don't want to be alone. So if you're having a problem in a relationship, which all of us have problems in relationships, if you're breathing, guess what? You're going to have problems in relationships. So you don't want to isolate from the relationships. You want to isolate from the wrong relationships.
That's true.
Put the right people around you. There's an expression I said for years and years. Your circle determines your cycle.
That's good.
So you got to make sure that you got the right people around your life. Where am I pretending things are fine when they're actually fractured? What a question to ask. Where am I pretending that things are okay in a relationship? Like, if you're having a problem with your spouse and there's unresolved issues, you got to have the conversation. You're having a problem with a friend, you got to have the conversation. Yeah, you can ignore him for a season, but you cannot ignore it for a lifetime, or else you're not just going to have a small leak. You're going to have a seam failure. You got to address it. So you got to address seam number 1, your integrity. Seam number 2, your emotions. Seam number 3, big time, relationships. And then the final seam you have to address is your spirituality. Here's what I've learned. A dry soul will eventually crack. Let me say it again. A dry soul will eventually crack. If your spiritual life is not balanced, or I say it this way, even better, prioritized, because I don't believe in balanced life. Balance means everything gets equal. I believe in priority. What's my priority? My priority is God. My priority is my wife. My priority is my kids. My priority is my church. My priority is my friends. Go down the list. There's a priority schedule for me. So I have people like they'll say, hey, I want to meet with you for breakfast.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to ask me out for breakfast. Here, don't ask me out for breakfast. I'm not coming. Why don't I come for breakfast to meet people?
That is, first of all, you don't like breakfast, but that is time with Pastor Mary. She loves.
Yeah.
She loves.
So if I'm going out to breakfast, it's going to be with my wife.
Yeah.
Not going to be with you.
Yeah, exactly.
I also have a rule to master the first 120 minutes of a day. So whenever I get up, the first 120, I got a system. So if you want to impede on that system, I have to say no. Because if I get out of rhythm in my spiritual life, the rest of my life is out of rhythm. So Jordan has the pleasure of traveling with me and our team often. And as we travel, he'll tell you, I still will go downstairs, leave the hotel room, go into the lobby, find a place, pull out my Bible, read and pray.
Yep.
I don't want to disturb them. I'm not asking them to get in my rhythm. I'm still going to honor my rhythm. I'm going to go do those things because that's so important to me to make sure, because I don't want a dry soul to cause cracks. Yeah. And it's when it gets dry, a liner, the seams can fail even easier, especially when the cold weather comes in and the cold heart that we have. John 15 says, apart from him, we can do nothing. I don't exist without God. I can't achieve success without God. I can't have any measure of influence without God. Apart from him, I can do nothing. So I want to make sure my spiritual seam is always being checked in. I want to make sure there's no small leaks. I want to make sure it's protected. There's a huge danger on leading on empty. And so, pastor I served with for 8.5 years, great mentor, Steve Malazzo, he used to always say this expression: if you pray every day, you will never lack for a sermon. I've always, I'm asking God for wisdom, for clarity, for direction. I don't really have to beg, God, give me a sermon for this weekend. He's dropping those things because it's a daily practice for me. Spending time with God, learning from him, reading his word. My spiritual life is not balanced. It is prioritized. And I want to make sure that's a high priority of my life. Reigniting spiritual disciplines are important. Prayer is something we should be doing every day. Well, I'm not a religious person. You should be. In fact, if you're not a religious person, here's what you need to do. Go to mychurchunleashed.tv and watch one of our services. I promise you, the bug of spirituality will bite you. And you will say, this ain't the church I grew up in. This ain't the church my grandma went to. This ain't the church I was baptized in as a child. It's a different kind of church. Why do we do that? Because I want to reach a new generation. I don't want old practices to reach a new generation. So I don't change the message. I just change the methodology. You've got to be able to pray every day. And if you're not connected to Father, God, you have to be able to say, man, I got to make a spiritual discipline of prayer. Also, Bible reading. It's where you're going to get your source from, where you're going to get kind of your understanding of life, because the Bible is just not a roadmap spiritually. It's a roadmap for every area of your life. It talks about every category of your life. So if you're cracking in that seam of spirituality, you're never going to see things clear. You're not even going to trust anybody. But when your spiritual life is right and you're trusting God completely, you're going to see people through the lens of your spirituality. And it's such an important thing to be able to do. And you've got to be able to take time to take a break. We call that in the Bible, we call it Sabbath. Sabbath is, the Bible says it wasn't made for God, it was made for us. It was made for us to kind of breathe and recover. The Bible says a man will work 6 days. On the seventh day, he'll rest. Why? We need rest. It's a spiritual discipline. If you're not resting, this is the way I say it. If you don't take a break, you will break.
Yep.
At some point, you'll break because you're not focused on your spiritual life. Remember, a dry soul will eventually crack. So you got to make sure that the spiritual seam of your life is being protected all the time. You got to build a personal altar before you build any organization. How are you spending time with God? See, these seams can fail in anybody's life. Doesn't matter. You could be on top of the corporate world and you can have seam failure. You could be working as a pastor in a church and have seam failure. You could be a stay-at-home mom and have a seam failure. You can be married, young kids, all that, and still have a seam failure. If you're not looking at how's my integrity, your character, who you really are. You got to be looking at your emotions. Am I balancing my life out? You have to then look at your relationship. Who's around my life that's either going to help protect my seam or who's going to help tear my seam? A lot of us have too many seam terrors. We need some seam protectors in our lives. And then you got to look at your spiritual life. So a couple quick bullets as we finish up. First is this. How do you repair when a seam breaks? Number one, recognize it early. Don't ignore the leaks. If you start to feel like there's leaks, recognize it. Don't ignore it. Recognize it. Number two, get help. Rescue requires community. You cannot fix yourself. You need people in your life to help your life. I need it. Jordan needs it way more than I do.
Thank you.
The truth is we all need it. And we all need it equally, right? The level of help you get will only be as good as the honesty you give. Oh, oof. Write that down.
That was good.
The level of help you get, how did I say that? Because that was just free for nothing. The level of help
you get
determines the
level.
Is determined by the level of honesty you give, right? The level of help you get is determined by the level of honesty you give. Think about that. Everybody talks about accountability. Well, we need to hold people accountable. I'm holding you accountable. Listen, your accountability is only as good as your honesty. You can say, hey, have you looked at porn this week? No, I haven't, but yet you were scrolling. Yeah. There's no accountability unless it's not. Have you, thought about stealing money from your company? No, I never thought about it, but then you have in ChatGPT. How would I steal money from my company? At the end of the day, the reality is, you've got to make sure that you're in the right community of people building you up. And that's only going to happen if you're really honest. I'm hurting. I'm broken. I'm struggling. I got some small leaks. Help me fix them before it becomes a seam failure. All right, number 3. Understand this. God's a restorer. So when there's a seam failure, guess what God can do? God could do what my pool company could not do. The pool company can't restore a seam. You know what I know about God? He can. Yeah. He can restore the seam in your relationships, your spirituality, your emotions, and your integrity. Only God can do that. You cannot do that on your own. Joel 2 tells us God is a restorer of his people. Here's what I want God to do in your life. I want him to restore your life. I want him to keep you so fresh and so focused that your destiny, your drive, all the dreams that you have that you'll accomplish because you didn't ignore the small leaks. I can tell you this, small leaks will kill your destiny. Seem failures will kill your possibility. You've got to be able to say, I got to look for those small leaks and protect how am I doing in integrity? How am I doing in my emotions? How am I doing in my relationships? And then finally, how am I doing in my spiritual life? The reality is everyone's going to have leaks. You got to prevent the failures. Leaks, you can manage. Failures, you need God's restoration to be able to help get you through it. Here's what we want you to do. I want you to just process. Which one of those 4 seams am I really struggling with the most? And then ask God to give you the help you need to be able to correct, fix, and for him to restore those faulty places. Because never forget, a dry soul will eventually crack. So you want to make sure that you don't run on empty and you don't run on dry. Protect yourself from seam failure. Because I can tell you, as a guy who just went through that with his pool, thousands and thousands of dollars because I ignored something that I should have looked at last year. And that's all we got, Jordan. Seam failure.
That was great.
What'd you think?
That was awesome.
It's good?
Yes, sir.
It's good. What do we got going on? We got a guest coming on our podcast.
Oh, we do?
Let me just see. Let me see if he got back to me. I'm going to let you know if we do. Let's see. Where is it? I think we can make it work. So we might be doing a podcast with a guest, and this is going to be a good one. Ooh. We're going to talk about discovering your destiny with this person. I think it's going to be really good.
Nice.
So that'll be our next episode. The Toddcast. What do we got to do? You got to subscribe. Got to subscribe.
Share it.
You got to share it. You have to share it. YouTube sometimes limits what we do. You have to. What else we got to do? You got to comment.
Comment, like.
Need you to comment, like. What else?
Yeah, follow us on all social media platforms.
Yeah, Todd R. Bishop.
Yes.
On all platforms.
And tune in for next week and just keep watching, keep learning.
Next episode. We're not next week. Next episode. Jordan,
that's right. Sorry.
Come on.
Next
Can you check your seam right now? It's cracking.
We're going to probably switch up when we upload.
Ooh, they're going to drop different day. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this, and I'm the Toddcaster.
I think we might get regular on probably the weekends.
So I'm always regular.
We'll see. That, you know what? So am I. It's a good feeling.
On that note, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Toddcast, where we ignore all the others because we know God's got a plan for your life. Thanks for joining us. We can't wait to see you next time.